It's Betsy and Bobby.
All right. Item 12.2, resolution of the City Council of the City of Emeryville adopting the community grant subcommittee recommendations to select Kala Art Institute, artist Prabha Pilar, New Arts Foundation, Friends of Golden Gate Library, Emeryville Historical Society, California Poets in the Schools, Inc., Scientific Adventures for Girls, Head Over Heels, Athletic for Art, Berkeley Film Foundation, the Oakland Public Education Foundation, Same Boat Theater Collective, and the Oakland Ballet Company as recipients for the Emeryville Community Grant Program.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I have a report here tonight of recommendation by the grant subcommittee to recommend 12 out of the 16 applications we received for the community grant program. There were a lot of good applications. The committee wanted to try to fund all of them. And up on the screen, we have all the organizations that submitted an application and the amounts that the committee recommended for your review. And wanted to also just add that this program was restarted 3 years ago, and so this is in the third year. There's a amount of $73,500 that's available to be allocated to the grant applicants. So I'd be happy to answer any questions, or we do have the applicants here to answer questions from the council.
Thank you. All right. Any clarifying questions up here? All right. I'm going to call first on the cards that I have here, but then anyone else who's here to comment on this item can speak a public comment. First up, Heidi. Oh, wait, sorry. That is actually for a separate item. Sorry. Friends of ECDC. You're the first up. Hello.
There. My name is Amanda. I represent the Friends of ECDC. For those not familiar with us, we are a nonprofit organization that supports the Emeryville Child Development Center. We raise funds, we create events, etc. So we're requesting funds this year to plant gardens at the school. We are going to partner with an organization locally called Farmscape, who is going to design and orchestrate the gardens for us. They're going to be edible gardens that the children can tend. And in so doing, they will gain skills, be outside, gain exposure to nature, understand where their food comes from, understand about, developing healthy eating habits by being exposed to more fruits and vegetables and that sort of thing. So we requested $10,000. We are very flexible with that amount. The initial quote we received from Farmscape gave us a breakdown for various numbers of planter boxes, and we were hoping for 3, which $10,000 would support. But we are flexible, and we see this as an ongoing project that we hope will continue at the school for generations of Emeryville learners to come. So we would really appreciate your consideration. We were not accepted by the subcommittee, but we would really appreciate your consideration for the funding in any dollar amount to get us started on this garden project.
Okay.
Happy to answer any questions.
Cannot ask questions at this time, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Any other public comment for this item?
I was on the subcommittee for the grants. My name is Vicki Sewell. I run the community garden, Big Daddy's. The person who represented you, they told me you didn't have any light at your garden, that you didn't get 6 or 8 hours of light.
Address the council.
And that there wasn't a light study to know where to put the planters.
Could you please use the microphone so we can get you on?
The reason we didn't fund it because the person they sent didn't know anything about gardening, and he expressed to us that the plants wouldn't be in daylight for more than 6 or 8 hours. You can't really grow vegetables for that long. And I told them that they needed to come back next year with maybe Sam or myself or another person who did a light study to find out where and what you could teach. Maybe you can only have flowers there or a play box or something. But that's why we didn't. It didn't seem like they knew how to garden. So.
Thank you. Any other comments on this item?
On the overall item?
Yes.
I'm Betsy Cooley, resident. I'd like to support the Historical Society, which I see they've gotten a lot of support. But also the, But also the jazz in the park on Sunday. That's been very, very popular over many years, and there are always a lot of people from Emeryville, so it's really a regional event. It isn't just an Oakland Library event. So, and thank you for the reappointment.
Thank you. Public comment?
Hello, my name is Brennan DeFrisco. I represent California Poets in the Schools. I just wanted to extend our gratitude for your support in last year's funding. If anybody noticed a book on your seat or at your table, it is a copy of the anthology that we produced. And if anybody does not have a copy, I have some extras back there if anybody would care for one. So just wanted to express thank you for your support.
Yes, Member Batters?
Can I just ask that someone on staff adjust the microphone because it's vibrating against the podium and I just keep hearing the vibrations of the microphone.
Typing.
I'm hearing you type. This is what happens when you're hearing impaired.
Any other public comment?
Hi, my name is Prabha Pilar. I wanted to thank the subcommittee for recommending the Tecnotamaladas that I wanted to do at ECAP. And I wanted to personally invite everyone here to join us for these tamale sharing events. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Good evening. My name is Jim Carl. I live in Emeryville, and I would like to thank the council, or thank the committee for recommending the Emeryville Historical Society for funding. It's a uniquely Emeryville organization, and the support of the city of Emeryville will help move this organization forward beyond just a small organization that puts out a quarterly journal to an organization that's going to have hopefully some impact on the community, starting with the small activity, the small digitizing of pictures that we have proposed in the grant, to other activities such as historical lectures, possibly advocating and being a catalyst for historical restoration and preservation, and We've just recently become a 501(c). I hope that everybody will visit our website if you haven't been there and join the organization. And thank you once again.
Yeah. More public comment? Come on up.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to express our thanks to the committee and to the council for the support of Kala Art Institute and the work we do with the children in the Emeryville schools. Okay, and rec program too. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ellen Koivisto from Same Boat Theater Collective, and I'd like to thank the subcommittee and thank the council as well, and ask you if you're interested in reading the part of the mayor when we do the staged reading here. It's one paragraph. I'll get in contact with you about it, but you actually have a part written in. So, thank you very much.
That is a first for public comment.
You now have to excuse yourself from the vote, right? There are no bad parts.
Only bad mayors.
There you go. I wasn't going to say it, but thank you for finishing that for me.
Sorry, please.
My name is Joey Enos. I'm a Emeryville resident since 2004. I have long Emeryville roots. I just recently found out that my grandparents lived in Emeryville. My great uncle was a founding member of the Emeryville Historical Society, and I just want to thank for recommending the Historical Society. We've had a pretty productive year getting the 501 tax exempt status. we've launched a website, and if awarded, we're going to be able to digitize and rehouse the collection, which is greatly needed. And we're very excited to protect and share these images for generations to come. If establishing this small project, one thing that I'm very excited about is potentially creating an internship with the Emeryville High School and exposing the community to museum and library science. As a person who almost dropped out of high school, my exposure to archives and museums got me to graduate from UC Berkeley in 2013, and in 2020, an essay of mine about the Emeryville mudflats sculptures is going to be published. So I think that the work that we can do is extremely important to our community, and we would love to share this collection with the whole community. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more public comment? Don't be shy.
Hi, everybody. I'm Courtney Carhoyer. I'm with Scientific Adventures for Girls, and I just want to say thank you to the subcommittee for nominating us for this. And we will actually, our program is going to be a STEM program at the Emeryville Recreation Center. It's for boys and girls for the summertime for 8 weeks. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Janice Plotkin. I'm the new program director for the Berkeley Film Foundation. This year, the foundation is celebrating its 10th anniversary. We are very grateful for the recommendation from the subcommittee and also for the past support from the city of Emeryville. The Berkeley Film Foundation is a unique partnership between the city of Berkeley, hopefully the city of Emeryville, Wareham Development, the Saul Zantz Company, and a number of other local businesses, foundations, and individual donors. Over the years, we've supported over 140 film projects and raised and distributed $1.5 million. Of that, about $114,000 went to Emeryville artists, and from that, out of 12 applications. 2 films of note that we're very proud of include a film by Judy Montel, In the Image, which screened in local film festivals and also in France, and Amir Soltani's Dogtown Redemption, which won a television Emmy. Filmmakers really struggle on both sides of their brains, their business side and their creative side, and certainly our ability to help them on the furthering of their careers and supporting the craft people that support them is a part of our mission. So we thank you very much and hope to see you again.
Thank you. Any more public comment on this item?
Hi, my name is Sue Mark, and I'm a cultural researcher, and I wanted to thank you for supporting the Emeryville Historical Society. I've been working with them for the past 5 years on documents relating to Emeryville and North Oakland history, and I want to say that the collection that this small group has gathered over the years is unparalleled, and it's because of personal connection that I've been able to access their materials, and bit by bit I've been scanning some of the materials. I'm creating a series of publications that will go into the Golden Gate Library, making some of their primary source materials available to the public. And I'm a firm believer in public access of these kinds of materials so that communities can know their history. And as we grow and change so rapidly in the Bay Area, it's invaluable to have these materials preserved. Thank you.
My name is Don Hausler, and I'm the co-founder of the Emeryville Historical Society. And we were established in 1988. We started publishing a newsletter in 1990, and over the last 30 years, we've published 30 newsletters. And here's the most recent one. We also published a book on Emeryville. It's the only book on Emeryville history. It was published in 2005. It's still being published. We've collected thousands of photographs, historical photographs, contemporary photographs. Also, we have set up 30 major exhibits. There's an exhibit right now that we produce that's on display at the Oakland Public Library. It opened on April 7th and it runs through July. And the subject is gambling in Emeryville. I have the newsletter here for it. The Emeryville Historical Society has 100 members. We have a website, and we have nonprofit status, so we'd like your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more public comment on this item? I see another couple. Come on up.
Good evening. I'm Nancy Smith. I house the photo collection of the Emeryville Historical Society. I have many, many binders full of historical photographs, including some of children in school, and I'm thinking of how today's children would have so much fun looking at those kids 100 years ago. Look at their clothes. Look at the teacher. Look at Anna Yates. Who was she? And look at those houses. I know some of them are still there. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Juan Lopez. I'm here for the Oakland Education Foundation. I'm a mosaic artist. I've done 2 murals at the school, and I just want to say thank you for the support I've received from the city, and I'm looking forward to working with Dr. Scott to find an exact location and subject for the next mural. We've put up two behind the water fountains at the school. I think it's a great place for art. It's a beautiful architectural spot. It's a good educational opportunity for kids to see some beauty and have something placed there where they drink water. So, and it also kind of celebrates the fact that this was a great estuary and wetlands here. So I enjoyed doing it very much, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to work some more over at the ECCL. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more public comment? Okay, seeing none, we're going to open this up for discussion.
Madam Mayor, I have some questions before we get to discussion.
Go for it.
If someone from the Emeryville Historical Society might be able to answer my questions. The first is, Joey, thank you. Could you tell me what the resolution is of the scans as quoted in the quote from KMH, Calcium Homes, the independent cataloger?
Sure. Let me get it in front of me real quick.
It doesn't say on the quote.
Standard resolution is between 400 and 600 DPI.
What is she planning on doing? I'm sorry, I assume it's she.
Yeah, it's she. I would lean towards 600 DPI since digital space is easier to store, so there's no reason to go to 400 DPI.
And did you get any quotes from any other archivists?
Not at this moment. Last year, I offered my services. She's much quicker and better than I. But we, for this, no, this is the only quote that we
Okay. And is this who you intend to use if you receive the grant? Is this who would be doing the scanning?
Correct, but we would be open to finding other quotes.
Okay. Those are my questions. Thank you.
Thanks. Any other clarifying questions?
Since I have you up here, I had a couple of things. I struggle with this grant, and I appreciate the support you've gotten. And I love that I gave the suggestion of getting some things settled, and I appreciate you guys doing that last year, the getting your website up, getting a 4013C. I never get that number right. I do appreciate that, but I struggle with, and I went back and I looked at the original purpose of these grants and how we go, and so I guess my first question is, are you located in Emeryville? I think we struggle with this every time, because I got mail today, and again, it lists your Oakland address, and the website lists the Oakland address, and it seems very ambiguous to me as to whether your business is in Emeryville or in Oakland.
That's what we struggle with. Don and Nancy started this many years ago. They're Oakland residences, and the collection as of right now is being stored at Nancy's home, and that's something that we would really like to address with this grant. We are, collecting more members to get funding, so, potentially someday we would have a physical space to not only present this, but to show this work. But as of right now, if you would like to see this work, you would have to go to Nancy's home.
Which led me to the activity question, because again, I looked back, and I've struggled with this last time, and I struggle with it again. Preserving these things is kind of what you do, right? That's the purpose of the society, is to preserve these documents. And when I look at the grants are sort of doing that next step, that extra. What can we get in Emeryville that we wouldn't get without these grants? So, and again, the location is in Oakland. The person you've picked or identified as the scanning, that was also going to take place in Oakland, because that's your location of business. And then the activity is sort of the core of what this historical society does. It wasn't I loved the last speaker's idea of let's have the kids involved, teaching the scanning skills, teaching, the bulk of the letters came from the senior center, which I thought was great. That's another, workforce to do this and to learn, preserving. I've been doing this with my mother, having her preserve photos from the 1930s, using her digital scanner and teaching her those skills because the cost is prohibitive. So I guess that's my question is, this seems such an isolated thing, right? At the core of what you do is, am I mischaracterizing that?
I don't know what you mean by isolated.
It's one person in their home in Oakland doing the scanning.
No scanning has happened yet.
Right, but that's what would happen. And some scanning, you guys have scanned previously. I mean, there's a book. Those things have been digitized.
Yes, but that's before my time. And I'm not sure how Don has, I'm not even sure if he has those files categorized. This would be totally different process. This would be adding metadata. This would be treating these material as a museum collection. So not only, this goes beyond, right now, Don and Nancy are the holders of this. And so what we're trying to do is make this more into a public forum. And so if Don and Nancy decide to stop doing this, it's gone. A lot of the images, wouldn't exist otherwise. And so what we're trying to do is scan these and to make them more public. And so that's where we are right now.
That sort of gave me more pause because it implies that it's really not the 401(c) that you're the head of that owns this stuff. It's really a private entity, private people.
It's something that we're working towards.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Sorry, one more clarifying question. What do you mean by metadata?
Metadata, basically, it's, so within a photograph, a digital image, you could add information. Mm-hmm. So it will, if an image gets passed around, you could look within that photograph of the files on the computer of like where the picture was taken, the year, who's in that photograph. So basically the information about the photograph, there's a lot less information being lost. With some photographs, you have images, but you don't know what corner of the street it was, who's in the photograph, what year. So that kind of preserves all that information.
Okay, thank you. All right.
And I don't think he answered the question very well. Did you feel like you had the question answered to your satisfaction?
Sorry, we're done with the public comment period. So unless you have further clarifying questions, we're done with. Thank you. All right, let's open this up into discussion. I'd like to start off with the Vice Mayor Pats.
I was interested to hear more about the garden grant. I'm sorry, is that, with your indulgence, if the person who spoke about the garden grant, if she can come up and talk a little bit more?
Clarifying question? Yes, let's go.
So I'd love to address that because I was intrigued by this, and I've talked to a member of the panel, and they sort of shared what the other person shared, that there was not a solid plan of like, I don't know if you'd coordinated with Pedro, and I'm looking to you about where these would go, if you were aware that that site's going to undergo major construction.
Yeah.
So
I can limit this to a clarifying question.
So have you guys addressed where they would go and what the lights would be?
Well, that is the purpose of partnering with a group like Farmscape, in order to have them as a consultant to give us the best information, take a look at our grounds, you know, tell us where they think the gardens would be best served and where they would get the most light, where they would have the most opportunity to thrive. So as of now, that part of the project isn't planned yet because we haven't had the funds to partner with Farmscape. So that is part of what the grant would cover, is this consultation to even just get the project started. I'm confident that with their guidance, we could find a place where the gardens would be sustainable and they could grow, you know, whatever we wanted them to grow. There is light on the grounds there, but again, none of us who are writing this grant are gardeners per se. We're not experts, which is why we would like the funds to partner with an expert company to help us choose the best location.
And Pedro, is that consistent with the site plan? Would there be challenges?
And I guess it depends on where they would recommend for the location to be that would get the most exposure to light. So at this time, I don't know which locations those are, but I'm sure there could be locations that would be sustainable, as mentioned.
It's the space for 3 things. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, are we ready to get into discussion now? Any other clarifying questions? All right, Member Pats, sorry, Vice Mayor Pats.
So again, I think we got a great batch. Some of the ones that were overlooked were even wonderful proposals, and I got to hear the reasoning of why, for example, the garden things. But I do really appreciate the artists and the community members who've come out and spoken. I think that just is an amazing group of things. I mean, some of these are happening again. The poetry project, I want to signal out. I think I said this last year. I'm not a fan. I'm going to struggle to read the book, but I love the engagement. I love that you end up with an end product. So I'm really excited by that one. You know, I can say the same thing about ballet. I'm not a fan, but I really appreciated that you were going both to the school and the senior center. I thought that was an amazing way to present. Kala has just done great work. You know, I'm missing somebody. Oh, Scientific Adventures for Girls. I just love you guys and think the work you guys do, both Bay Area wide, it's just incredible and incredibly valuable. And so with that, I still struggle with the Historical Society and do not think that this is the core of what the grant is. We really want to be looking at engaging people in activities that we wouldn't have otherwise. You know, I'll go to the last one I mentioned. Scientific Adventures for Girls has a cost, and they wouldn't be able to come into the schools as much without the, or with the, sorry, it's not, you're not in the schools, you're in the rec program over the summer, and this really helps supplement that. You know, the Jazz Society, who I failed to mention, you know, I know without our support, we wouldn't have jazz in our parks all summer. So those are my opening thoughts.
Thank you. How about Member Donahue? As an artist, I'd love to hear your perspective.
Well, I like all of the chosen grant groups, including the Historical Society. The Historical Society, I think, is an investment in our future. And I just think that we would eventually be able to take this information in our future and use it for it would be ours. And I think that's a reasonable cost.
To clarify, I don't think it would be ours, right? That at no point in this application does it say that the city would have any rights over these images.
Well, my understanding is that they would be posted and available to the public.
All right. Any other comments?
No, other than the proposals all look good to me.
Great. How about Member Bowders?
I have no comment.
All right, Member Martinez.
I just want to appreciate all of the applicants, especially those that we funded in the past. I want to shout out the Oakland Ballet Company and Nancy Karp, because I know when we poll members of the community, I know our youth certainly are always asking for dance programming. I do also want to shout out Scientific Adventures for Girls. which has just it puts on phenomenal events that engage the whole community. And it really, the pizza disappears in 10 minutes because there are so many people there doing science, but also eating pizza. But they're really, really great events that are well attended and well loved by the community. The Friends of the Golden Gate Library, that's work that's been happening for many years. I want to thank Josephine Lee for making sure that we can help out with the Jazz on Sunday events. And Berkeley Film Foundation does really remarkable work. I think many of us in the community know Rick Tejada Flores, who was one of the grantees from last year, who is working on a film called Troubled Water about a farmer in Ecuador whose water is being diverted by environmentally bad practices from a large corporation. And the other grantee from last year is someone who works in Emeryville, Andres Alegria, who I happened to work with some years ago, but who is also a true artist who's working on a documentary on Cesar Chavez. Kala Institute does amazing work, as does Head Over Heels. I mean, these are all just amazing stalwarts in our community that, again, have, if the purpose of this grant is to engage community, I think this is just such a great list of applicants. And I did caucus with Mayor Medina, and I'm looking forward to hearing her thoughts on how we could go forward. And I just want, the one last thing I would like to say is for future years, it would be really great. We discussed creating more of a template and parameters for the committee to help prioritize which of these grantees and how to weight their scoring, because they do a fantastic job, and I think we can kind of give them a good game plan.
Yeah, I'd like to echo the sentiments of my colleagues. I want to thank everyone who applied, and again, we have so many fantastic organizations that are providing a lot of services here that we're able to help support better access to the arts for a lot of Emeryville residents and specific a lot of children. I think most of these represent amazing opportunities for community engagements. One thing that I did caucus with Member Martinez on is we happened to look up the cost of digitization of photos. And frankly, I found it the cost quoted in Emeryville Historical Society to be far, far over what anything I could find online. To digitize 1,000 photos looks like it costs around $1,200 on Kodak.
They are running a 25% off special. You can get it for $900 right now, but it's not the same. I do want to preface that it's not archival scanning. It's 300 DPI, but it's simple digital scanning is much cheaper.
Yeah, I think the point of these grants are to it's for community engagement, and the community doesn't own these photos once they're digitized. That's nowhere in there, nor is the display of them, and really having seniors and high school students involved isn't super fleshed out in the grant. Most of the money that's in here in the proposal is specifically for digitization. So, I do understand the imperative to preserve our history. We have a rich and fascinating one in Emeryville. But I think the current allocation is a little bit higher than I'm currently comfortable with for digitizing photos, frankly, knowing the technology available to do it. I understand wanting to have an archival museum grade person do it, but we don't have a museum these are going to be displayed, and that's nowhere in there. So I would be willing to consider perhaps reducing the amount of this grant to start the process of digitization. And I'm curious to hear what my colleagues think of that idea.
I think the major labor is not the digitizing of photos, but the assigning of historical data to those photos. Mm-hmm. That requires experience and research. That's the major effort, and I think that we should recognize that's really what this is about. It's about really looking at history and recording history. It's not just a mechanical process, but you have to connect the names and the events to the photos. So I think that's really objectively what the effort is.
Right, but Facebook allows me to do that when I upload my photos, to put in the place, the time, and a caption.
Yes, but these are photos from long ago. And I just think that we shouldn't underestimate what it would take to have accurate history for our city going forward. That's all.
Okay. Any other thoughts from my colleagues?
I understand the urge to have 1,000 photographs scanned at archival level, but starting out, I think 300 DPI scans of each asset is not unreasonable, which can be done for, a very
$900.
Yeah, 900. Actually, the last time I checked that website, it was 50% off. I just happen to check this website all the time because I have plenty of things that I'm archiving myself. But
okay. Vice Mayor Pats?
I'm ready to make a motion.
All right. Interested to hear your motion.
So I'd like to move the item without the Historical Society funding, but I'd like to use the 6,996 that is funded. I'd like to move I'd like to move 1,996 of that to more fully fund the Oakland Ballet's request, and the other 5,000 to Scientific Adventures for Girls to fully fund their $10,000 request. So that is my motion. I'm sorry, Ballet, we're shorting you $4 from your request.
I'd like to make a substitute motion. My substitute motion would be to accept almost all of them as is, but put $1,996 towards the Emeryville Historical Society, and take that over $5,000 and fully fund Scientific Adventures for Girls at their request.
So, point of order?
Yes.
My motion didn't get a second, so there is nothing to substitute.
Okay, well then I have a motion.
I second the mayor's motion.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd like to make a substitute motion, or is it too late now?
No, you can do that now.
Yeah.
That we have a higher amount for the Historical Society. We have $3,500 to the Historical Society, and that's approximately half of what is there, and the other half can be divided up among whatever the majority of us think how it should go.
Motion.
Did you put that as a motion? Sorry, can you rephrase that?
That
You have to put a total, you actually, in your motion, have to divide that amount.
find the secondary amount.
Yes.
Okay, then the other amount would go to $2,000 for the Oakland Ballet program, and
$1,496.
$1,496 to the Same Boat Theater Collective.
Oh, they're giving you, okay.
They already have fully funded.
They're fully funded with their request.
Okay, all right, so then let me choose something else here. The New Arts Foundation would be $1,496.
All right, seeing there's no second for that motion, my motion is currently the only one that can have a vote called on it, unless anyone else wants to go for it. All right, shall we go ahead and call the roll?
Councilmember Bouders?
Madam Mayor, permission to explain my vote.
Yes.
I'm voting to abstain. I'm not voting on this item for several reasons. One, I don't think that the process that the city has undertaken is an appropriate one. I don't think all the information that is necessary to make the vote is before us, and I think that my recommendation for direction after this would be that the Community Services Committee take this item up to provide greater clarity around the policy and the guidelines, as Councilmember Martinez has previously discussed, for how this grant application process should work. because I think that we need to come back with a better product to make this process more clear for both the applicants and the council. So at this time, I abstain.
Councilmember Donahue?
No.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Pats?
Yes.
And Mayor Medina?
Aye. Motion passes.
Member Medina, Mayor Medina, if I may.
Yes, you may.
Pedro, can I ask that you connect with the Friends of the ECDC and we talk offline about pursuing this garden project?
Great. And I'd like to echo what my colleague said. I'd like to urge this process to have more clarity and maybe a weighted point system next year, so we can make better informed decisions. But that's it on this item for now.
Can we actually give direction right now, Mr. City Attorney?
Going to say, I'd love to talk about this at community services.
Yeah, let's
No,
do
but
it.
that's
That's my request. So I don't think you need a
direction.
motion, but I would just ask if there's a majority of council, I'd like to refer this to Community Services Committee.
Yes.
Process.
Yes.
Excellent.
Okay. That's it for item 12.2.